the Lux Radio Theater, starring Gloria Swanson, William Holden, and Nancy Gates in Sunset Boulevard.
"20 minutes ago, a murder was committed on Sunset Boulevard. At one of those great big mansions between Hollywood and the beach. You're going to hear a lot about it, because an old-time movie star is involved. One of the biggest. The police haven't arrived yet, but they're on their way, I guess. The victim's body is still floating in the swimming pool. Nobody important, really. Just a movie writer with a couple of B pictures to his credit. The poor dope. He always wanted a swimming pool. Well, he got the pool. Only the price turned out to be a little high. Let's go back about 6 months and find the day when it all started. Things had been pretty tough. I hadn't sold a story in months. But I knew a big shot over at Paramount who always seemed to have liked me. And the time had come to take advantage of it. He was a smart producer with a set of ulcers to prove it.
All right, Gillis, you got 5 minutes. What's your story about?
Well, it's about a baseball player, Mr. Sheldrake.
No?
The poor kid was once mixed up in a holdup, but he's trying to go straight. I submitted an outline a while back. I imagine your story department's got a report on it.
Baseball story, huh?
Yeah, with a real good gimmick at the end.
You got a title?
Bases loaded. And you got exactly the man for it right here on the lot, Alan Ladd. Be a great change of pace for him.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Sheldrake.
Hello.
On that bases loaded, I have a 2-page synopsis. You may want to look at it.
Oh, thank you.
Personally, though, I wouldn't bother.
Oh? What's wrong with it?
It's from hunger.
I'm sure you'll be very glad to meet Mr. Gillis. He wrote it. This is Miss Schaefer from the reading department.
And right now, I wish I could crawl in a hole and pull it in after me.
If I could be of any help, Miss Schaefer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gillis. I just didn't think it was any good.
Just what kind of material do you recommend? James Joyce, Dostoevsky?
Perhaps the reason I hated Bases Loaded is that I knew your name. I'd always heard that you had some talent.
That was last year. This year I'm trying to pay the rent.
That'll be all, Miss Schaefer. Thank you very much.
Goodbye, Mr. Gillis.
Look, I don't want you to think I thought this was going to win any Academy Award, but I'm over a barrel, Mr. Sheldrake. I need a job.
I haven't got a thing.
Any kind of assignment, additional dialogue, rewrite.
There's nothing, honest.
Mr. Sheldrake, well, could you let me have $300? It's for my car. They're after my car. I mean yourself as a personal loan.
Could I? Gillis, last year somebody talked me into buying a ranch in the valley. So I borrowed the money from the bank to pay for the ranch. This year I had to mortgage the ranch so I could keep up my life insurance, so I could borrow all my insurance, so I could pay the bank. Then there's a little matter called income tax. Now, in case you don't...
Well, that was that. I drove out of the parking lot. No place in particular. Just driving and trying to think things out. The time had come to wrap up the whole Hollywood deal and somehow get back to Ohio. I stopped for a traffic light. Behind me in the mirror, I saw a very familiar car. 2 gentlemen from the Friendly Finance Company. I jumped the light and stepped on the gas. I was on Sunset Boulevard now, heading toward the beach. Suddenly, a tire blew out. There wasn't time to think twice. I turned off the road into a private driveway. I ducked behind some fancy shrubbery and waited. I was safe. The house was a great big white elephant of a place. The kind crazy movie people built in the crazy 20s. A neglected house gets an unhappy look. This one had it in spades. Dismal and damp-looking, all grown over with some devouring sort of ivy. I started wondering how anyone could ever...
You there. Why are you so late?
Oh, I beg your pardon, but I'm,
In here. Come in.
I just left my car in the driveway. I had a blowout. I thought maybe
Go inside.
Have him come up back.
Wipe your feet. Go on. You're not properly dressed for the occasion.
What occasion?
Go up the stairs.
Now, suppose you listen to me for just a
Madame,
minute.
it's waiting.
For me? Okay.
If you need any help, call me.
So I went up the staircase. It led to a huge bedroom. On a table covered with a Spanish shawl was a monkey. A dead monkey. I guess I just stood there staring.
You should have been here hours ago. I put him there because he always liked to be near the fire. Well, I've made up my mind that he'll be buried in the garden. Any city laws against that?
I wouldn't know.
I don't care anyway. I want the coffin to be white. I want it specially lined with satin. White. Or maybe deep pink. Now, I warn you, don't quote me a fancy price just because I'm rich.
Look, you've got the wrong man, lady. I had some trouble with my car. I thought this place was empty.
It is not. Get out.
I'm sorry. Hey, excuse me. But haven't I seen you before?
Get out.
You're Norma Desmond. You used to be in silent pictures. You used to be big.
I am big. It's the pictures that got small.
Yeah, I knew there was something wrong with them.
They're dead. They're finished. There was a time when they had the eyes of the whole wide world, but that wasn't good enough for them. Oh, no. They had to have the ears of the world, too. So they opened their big mouths, and out came talk. Talk.
Yeah, well, that's where the popcorn business comes in. You buy yourself a bag and plug up your ear.
Look at them in those front offices. The masterminds. They took the idols and smashed them. The Fairbankses, the Gilberts, the Valentinos. And who have you got now? Some nobody.
Well, don't blame me. I'm not a producer, just a writer.
You are. Writing words. Words. More words. Well, you've made a rope of words and strangled this business.
Shh. You wake up the monkey.
Get out. Max!
Okay, I'm going.
Just a minute, you. A writer, you said.
Well?
Are you or aren't you?
Oh, sure. The last story I sold was about Okies in the Dust Bowl, but you'd never know because when it reached the screen, the whole thing played on a torpedo boat.
I happen to have written a script myself. It's the story of Salome. I think I'll have DeMille direct it.
And you'll play Salome?
Well?
Only asking. I didn't know you were planning a comeback.
I hate that word. It's a return. A return to the millions of people who have never forgiven me for deserting the screen.
Fair enough.
Salome. What a woman. What a part. The princess in love with a holy man. He rejects her, so she demands his head on a golden tray, kissing his cold, dead lips.
They'll love it in Pomona.
They love it every place. Read it. Read my manuscript. Read the scene just before she has him killed.
Now, look, never let another writer read your material, Miss Desmond. He may steal it.
I'm not afraid. Max!
Yes, madame?
The young man is staying for a while. Get some champagne.
So I started to read. Sometimes it's interesting just to see how bad writing can be. This promised to go the limit. She sat in front of me, coiled up like a watch spring, defying me not to like what I read, or maybe begging me in her own proud way to like it. It meant so much to her. It was sure a cozy setup. That bundle of raw nerves, and Max, and the dead monkey. Later on, just for comedy relief, the real guy arrived with a little coffin. It was all done with great dignity. He must have been a very important chimp. It got to be evening. I was feeling a little sick at my stomach, what with the champagne and that tripe I'd been reading. By then, however, I'd started making up a little plot of